campionato di calcio italiano.
Horse! Come on, Ed!
Run it, Kelly!
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hail, hail! Welcome to Celtic Rock and Roars with me, Stephen Ray. We kicked off there with a wee bit of Van Halen that was requested from the Smell the Glove podcast. They sent me a wee message during the week looking for that song, so I thought I'll kick off. It's a cracking song. Van Halen, Right Now, with Sammy Hagar on vocals. I still preferred Diamond Dave, to be honest. So thanks for tuning in. If it's the first time you've ever tuned in to Celtic Rock and Roars, I'll give you a wee bit of background to who I am and what the show is all about. I do the show on my Todd. I'm on my own, so I like to try and keep the chat short. I'll have a few wee features in between different segments of the show. Try to throw a wee bit of humour in there. If you're from Scotland and you've heard the Off the Ball, it's a kind of Celtic version of that with a wee bit of music thrown in. So I try to keep it light-hearted and not get overly too serious, but obviously if there's something serious to talk about, I'll talk about it. I'll have a couple of tunes in between. From now on, I'm not playing the music. I will be playing requests, because anytime I play music, it just gets slated to fuck, to be honest. A couple of weeks ago, I played a Dire Straits track, Money for Nothing, and the only reason I played the song was because I was having a go at Neil Doncaster, and I finished the show with that song in tribute to him because he gets money for fuck all, basically. But I had Mr. Paul Larkin for the Homeboys absolutely slating the song, and then asked me for Happy Mondays. So I don't think much of his music taste, but I played it for him anyway. So, but what I will say is I've been getting a shitload of feedback for the show since it went to Hail Hail Media, and been getting all positive comments, been getting a few requests. Everybody's told me they love Dumb and Dumber tweets. That's one of the features. That's a feature where I just read out some people's tweets and basically slag them off, but it's done in a way it's actually quite funny. At least I think so anyway. Well, the fact that other people keep telling me it must be. So I'll play a couple of tunes. I'll start with a rock tune. It's all rock music, by the way. That's why it's called Celtic Rock and Roars, because I'm a big rock fan. As much as I'm a massive Celtic fan, my other passion is rock music. I'm a bit of old classic rock fan. Somebody described one of the songs as dad rock. Well, I'm a dad. I'm 37 in a couple of weeks. In fact, I'm 37 the night we play Malmo, but we'll get to that later. So I am a father of two, married to Julie. My wife's in fucking New York at the minute, and I'm sitting in a cupboard doing this show. But I enjoy doing it, and I'm glad that people are getting enjoyment listening to it, and I'm glad I'm on Hail Hail Media. And I'm obviously going to a wider audience. So if you ever want to get a hold of me, if you want to contact me, you can get me at Twitter at Celtic Rock Roars. I didn't have enough room for the and. Or you can get me on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Celtic Rock and Roars, or just type in Celtic Rock and Roars into the wee search engine. I've got loads of stuff coming up tonight. I've got obviously my wee features. I've got a few wee funnies in there. We'll talk about the game in Carabag over Baku and my thoughts on that game. We'll talk about the Partick Thistle game. We'll talk about just some other shit, basically. So we'll kick the subjects off with the game over in Baku. Okay, the match away to Karabag. Well, obviously we had the build-up to the game, and we seem to have as many fucking negative stories as possible. With the newspapers try to drum up, about how bad the pitch was. Actually, when I read it at first, I actually thought that Celtic had complained about the pitch, but I don't think they actually did, to be honest. In fact, they didn't. The media were making such a big deal of this pitch, and it was almost as if Celtic were getting their excuses in early. That's the way it was sort of portrayed. John Collins was obviously asked at the airport, and he just says, well, we've not seen it, but we'll obviously have a look at it when we get it there. And then the reports came out that Celtic weren't even going to be allowed to train on the pitch, and how Ronnie Dyler was going to be getting off his nut and all that. So it was a negative. And then they're throwing in that Van Dijk there was a bid for Van Dijk, so which I think it's a bit disrespectful, to be honest. If I was a club or another club, I think I'd be conscious that the player that I want to buy, if it was true, if I wanted to buy a player and that he was halfway through a really important tie for a certain club, then surely you don't put a bid in halfway through it if you want that club to be no sympathetic, but at least want to be willing to deal with you. If you turn a player's head halfway through a tie like that, then the selling club's just not going to fucking entertain me, to be honest. So that's just the way I see it. But Ronnie was asked about it in the interview, and he said no bid. There was nothing. Didn't know what he was talking about. And then he was asked about the pitch, in which Ronnie turned around and said, "Well, we play in worse pitches in Scotland," and that's one thing I love about Ronnie Dyler. He's sussed out the Scottish media. He doesn't take their shit, and he's got an answer for them every time. It's almost as if he's one or two steps ahead. He knows exactly what he's going to get asked, and he's ready for it. So, good on him. And then obviously John Collins turned around and said, "Well, the pitch isn't as bad as we thought, so the pitch is actually okay." And then obviously I was listening to the BBC Radio Scotland podcast the night before the game, and they were saying how unbelievable the heat was, and and it's going to be sweltering, and they're going to struggle, da da da. You had Derek Johnson on Super Scoreboard saying, "Oh, the match is at 5 in the afternoon." No, it's not. It was at 5:30 in the afternoon here, but it was at 9:30 in Baku. So obviously it was going to be a wee bit cooler. But obviously the game kicking off at 5:30. I don't get home sort of anywhere between 5:45 and 6 o'clock, just by the distance I'm travelling, and try to fight my way through Glasgow and the motorway from Kirkintilloch back to the south side of Glasgow. And what I've got to say is the fucking traffic on the day of the game was absolutely horrendous trying to get home. So I actually get home about 5 minutes later than the latest I've ever been. So I don't know if everybody had the same idea as me and tried to leave a wee bit early and just get caught in mountains of traffic. But I caught the game on the radio, most of the first half anyway, on Radio Scotland, and I was absolutely bricking it, man. The way they made out the commentary, it was almost as if Qarabag were camped inside our box. And then obviously they said that Craig Gordon pulled off an incredible save. It was a good save, but it was a save I'd expect him to make. The 25-yard shot, it was high, it wasn't low into the corner, it was kind of halfway between the post and the middle of the goal. I mean, it's a good save, and he was maybe blinded a wee bit, but I'd have been really disappointed if that one had went in. So I didn't really catch much. I actually get in the house when they were just about finished their water break, and I watched it. I was fucking sitting, my legs are shaking, and I was just because it's your full season depends on these results, and it can make or break fucking the kind of year that you have, to be honest. But they didn't really create much in the rest of the first half that I seen, and then the second half, you felt right, they're going to come at us, but it never really happened. There was one incident where the ball sort of broke, but it had a big spin on it and it spun out for a corner. That was about the only dangerous part I can remember in the second half. And after about 60 minutes, I'm sitting thinking, do you know what? They're not going to score. And I'm sure I said it in the podcast last week that I didn't think Qarabag were going to score. I think I actually predicted either 1-0 or 0-0. I can't remember. I'm not going to bother listening back, but I just didn't see them scoring, and I felt that we could. And as the game was going on, the stronger we looked, the more we started to open. They obviously started to open up. We started getting in behind them, and we made some substitutions, which was quite offensive substitutions, because I think Armstrong had an okay game for what I saw. He was steady enough. He defended well. He tracked back. Mackay Stephen looked, I don't know, I mean, he's a talented boy. I think he's a lot more skillful than James Forrest, but maybe he's just no, and he did play quite well against Inter, but obviously I don't know if that was just adrenaline his first sort of couple of games, whereas I think he's been off the boil the last few games, and I'm not saying punt him or anything like that, I'm not saying anything like that at all, I'm just saying I don't know if he's going to be a first pick. I think in the three positions, I think we could be doing with another in there. Somebody probably and hopefully better than what we've already got. But he worked hard. He lost the ball quite a bit. He didn't really create much. The pitch was pretty shocking. It was almost like playing in concrete, almost just the way it was bouncing and bobbling away. And but I don't think Mackay Stephen had a great game. To be fair, Armstrong was okay. Johansson gave the ball away quite a few times, but I think. But if I work it for the back, I thought Craig Gordon had another pretty quiet night. Didn't really have much to do apart from one sort of good save in the first half. Lustig and Izagiri, for what I saw, pretty solid. Didn't bomb forward too much. Kept their shape, kept their position, kept their wingers kind of at bay. I thought Van Dijk and Boyata won, just about everything that came into the box. There was one incident I seen in the second half where a boy tried to have a shot and Boyata sort of blocked it and it spun out for a corner and he gave it a big fucking roar. He was like the big fist pump. Yeah, I love that, man. That's quality. The guy celebrated a clearance almost, or a deflection, just as much as he would a goal. And Van Dijk and Boyata were just the cruise control, man, for the rest for the last half an hour of that game. Absolutely strolled it. I heard a cracking comment on Super Scoreboard where a guy said that Beaton could have played in his slippers, which is absolutely true. To be honest, he was fucking absolute class, man. The boy's a talent. To be fair to Frank McAvenny, he said it about a year and a half ago when we just signed him, that he'd seen him before, and he thought he was class and he just needed a run of games. But Beaton definitely makes the team quick and he's got that calmness about him. There was a point, I think there was 3 or 4 players when we received it in a tight area. He took a touch and he just movement, and he didn't actually move that much. He just a kind of wee feint and he passed it on and took 3 or 4 players out, and all of a sudden we were on the break. Just class. I thought Bruni worked hard. He tackled well. He was in their faces. He didn't harass. He didn't gee up in anything, and he was a real. Although he might not be really vocal, he just led by example. He just set the standard. Effort and work and determination, and I thought that helped the rest of the team. I thought the 3 in behind didn't really create an awful lot. I thought Johansson should have buried the chance that he got. I thought it was quite an easy chance, to be fair. He should have placed it rather than try to smash it in the bottom corner. And then we make the subs. I thought, Chief J worked. It looked as if he worked hard, but he didn't get much support. The ball's bouncing to him, and it wasn't a great surface. And he held the ball up well at times, but it's not gone from him now. And I'm not judging him yet. I think he needs a run, and I think once he gets a goal, I think he'll get somewhere between 15 and 20 goals. And I think Griffiths would be the same. But I don't think both of them are European class. I think if Celtic get through the next tie, I don't think they're going to get us the goals. It's going to get us points on the board, if I'm being brutally honest. And I think they're good players for the SPFL Premiership, but I just don't see. I don't see them being at that level yet. So that's just my opinion. But obviously Griffiths come on, a wee bit more pace up front. Could run in behind. Forrest come on, and now I'm no Forrest's biggest fan by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, I thought in the first Carabao game, I thought he was just anonymous, a complete passenger. And if I had my own way, I would sell him. I don't think he's good enough. I really don't. I think he's had nearly 5 years to do it, and he shows it in flashes. Now, I was having a bit of a Twitter debate, let's call it, with a female. Can't remember her name, but she's on my Twitter and she follows me, and we're having a wee bit of back and forward about Forrest. She obviously loves James Forrest. This isn't me giving Forrest a bashing. I just think he's had his chance and it's just not worked out, and I think it's probably best that he moves on. But then he goes and beats 3 players, and I'm sitting there as he's running through in goal thinking, I'm going to look a fucking mug here, man. He's going to bury this. And then he passes it straight to one of their players. Why did they not shoot? I had a wee quick look at Twitter just after they'd done it, and it was the same reaction everywhere. And it was shoot. Why did you not shoot? You know, all that kind of stuff. So I don't know if it was a lack of confidence or he just thought he seen Griffiths at the side of his eye and just sort of hoped to just play it to him. But it was passing responsibility. He should have shot across the face of the goal. If it goes in, great, we get a goal. If the keeper saves it, Griffiths might have a tap in or it might deflect off one of their players and go in. And if he misses altogether, well, then we can get back into shape and back and defend, you know. But he gave it to one of their players and they broke on us. Although it didn't come to anything, it's not the point. He should have scored. But it was a hell of a journey for the fans to make as well. You know, there was more fans there than I thought it would be. Obviously, it must be people maybe kind of work out near that neck of the woods. Plus, some folk obviously travelled. Seen Paul de Tim, obviously told me in the podcast last week that he was going. So, good for the fans. I was just glad that the fans went that distance and got a good result. I thought we were comfortable. I don't think we were in any danger over the two legs. And I thought it was a really, really professional job. I mean, I'm the world's worst for sitting watching Celtic on the telly in Europe away from home. I'm an absolute nervous wreck. And I actually felt for the last 20 minutes, half an hour of that game, I had the feet up. I just knew they weren't going to score. I just thought we were so comfortable. We didn't look like making a mistake. And so fair play to Ronnie Dyler. Great credit to him. Great credit to John Collins and John Kennedy. Kennedy obviously working on defence. And I thought it was a good result. You know, because I've been looking back at their kind of results over the last few years, and they're no mugs. Definitely no mugs. They're no the greatest team in the world, but they've definitely got a bit about them, you know, that they're dangerous and they would have beat any other Scottish team, that's for sure. So let's move on to the next round and the draw that we got. So after the Carabag game, I had my phone switched on to a website called Flash Scores, and it had all the Champions League qualifiers up there. So I had it on. I was checking it every few minutes, just checking on the results, and I was just watching one seed after another just fall. I seen Partizan Belgrade, they were 2-1 down. Steaua Bucharest, the seeded team, go down to 10 men, and all of a sudden Partizan bang them for 4-2. So I'm thinking, well, that's not a game I really want, to be fair. Partizan Belgrade. So, and then I seen Plitzen for Czech Republic. I think they were 1-0 up. I think they were 2-1 up for the first leg, and they're playing Maccabi Tel Aviv, and all of a sudden they're 2-0 down, and you're thinking, fucking hell, man, Israel. I don't want us to play Israel. They're normally quite skillful teams, and then you've got the whole thing where, you know, Celtic fans are not all, obviously not. I would like to think all Celtic fans are at least sympathetic towards Palestine. And the sort of shit that the people over there need to put up with. So you're thinking about, okay, the Palestine flags are going to come out. What sort of shit's that going to cause with UEFA? And I mean, fuck UEFA, but, you know, you're thinking, you know, it's another thing that we could be doing with it. It's a tie we don't need. We don't need the aggro, or we don't need the headache that it could possibly lead to. As much as you could be right to flag the flag and all that sort of stuff, unfortunately, the powers that be don't really care, and our club just get fucking fined for every thing that we do. So I'm thinking, right, well, I don't want them. And then I'm seeing Malmo, they're 3 up at half time away at home to Salzburg, and they'd lost the first leg 2-0, and you're thinking, no way. I mean, they were fucking really good against us last year, and Malmo were pumping them 3-0. You're thinking, God's sake, I don't fancy Malmo. And so all these teams are all dropping like stones. Astana, they beat HJ Helsinki. I was thinking to myself, get Helsinki, man. They'd be, I think we'd absolutely tan them, man. But they're going through, and then in injury time, Astana down to 10 men, score and go through. So I was kind of looking at the results, and I'm thinking, well, the Albanian mob, and I can't even pronounce their name. I'm thinking, right, they're definitely my first choice. Because if we can't beat an Albanian team then. We just want to chuck it, to be honest. And then I'm thinking, Astana, it's a far journey to Kazakhstan, but they're second in their league to the team that just put out Aberdeen, and they were no great shakes, to be fair. And I'm thinking, well, Malmo, it's no far away. It's a Scandinavian team. They'll no be super skillful. They'll be organised. They'll be maybe hard to break down. But we've beat Elfsborg and we beat Helsingborg in the last couple of years, and they were the champs. And I'm thinking Tel Aviv is probably the second hardest that we can get. It's quite far away. There'll be a skillful team, and then all the nonsense that could possibly come between their fans and our fans, because they'll know what our fans are all about. And then I'm thinking Partizan, definitely one. I don't want them because they'll be a tough team, and their fans are absolutely fucking nuts, to be honest. And I mean, really bad, racism, and it'd just be an absolute nightmare for the fans to go there, and it'd be a really tough tie. So I definitely didn't want them. So obviously the draw comes out, and it comes out that we've got Malmo, and then obviously we're on YouTube looking at them and checking out what sort of team they were up against with Salzburg, checking out their league position. So as it turns out, they're actually sitting 6th in their league just now. They're 7 points behind Gothenburg, who are top of the league. And it turned out as well that they played Salzburg, but only 4 of the Salzburg players that played us last season were playing. And the one sort of main star that they've still got left, Soriano, the Spanish guy, he was injured, so they missed out. And then I seen a comment for the Salzburg manager basically saying that they defended like absolute amateurs in the second leg. They obviously went out thinking the game was done, and it obviously wasn't. Malmo actually had their number last year. They put Salzburg out. Salzburg seemed to be a kind of Spurs of Europe, just a soft underbelly, and they roll on their back and get their belly tickled every now and again. So as it turns out that I think Joanne Berget's one of their best players. He was absolutely shite for us, but that doesn't mean anything because Harold Bratback came back one time to haunt us, even though for a long time he was shite for us. Who else? Their main striker, Marcus Rosenberg, he's out suspended for the first game, and there's a guy called Atsu, I think, he's out suspended as well for the first game. So they're coming to Celtic Park, which I think is a good thing. Get them at home first. I think the way our team is now set up, I think we could win the home leg, and then we know what to do away from home. Because I think if we have to go chasing the game in the second leg at home, potentially, then I think that's where problems come in. But I fancies, I'd say the tie 70-30 Celtic, just based on the size of the clubs, the players, experience, and all that sort of stuff. Yes, Malmo were in the Champions League last year, but they done absolute shite. I think they won their last game against Fenerbahce, who were already out at that stage. So I think it was No, it wasn't Fenerbahce. It was, can't mind who it was, but maybe Olympiacos or something. But I think it was one of the sort of kind of Greek or Turkish teams they played. But that was the only game I think they won in the group stage last year, and they went no further. So our fancies against Malmo, I think 2-0 would be enough to get through the tie. I think we would score over there. I know we said that about Karabag, but I fancy the way our defence is set up and the way Ronnie's got the team structured. I think we'll do it. So I'm going to tell you a wee bit about Malmo. So I've drawn up a wee list of stuff here. So hopefully it's interesting, and hopefully it will help some of you folk that plan on travelling to Malmo in Sweden. So I'm going to give you a wee rundown on who Malmo are, a wee bit of their history, and what you can do if you're planning on travelling to Malmo. And I thought I'd stick a wee bit of background music in. Since we're in Europe, I thought I'd play the band Europe. I thought I'd play a Swedish rock band, and the song is The Final Countdown, because we're on the final countdown to the Champions League playoff round. A bit cheesy, I know, but fuck it. Anyway, who are Malmo? They were founded in 1905. The stadium It holds 24,000 people. It's called the Swedbank Stadium. Their turnover is 26.4 million, and that's excluding any player transfers, which is probably about a third of what Celtic's turnover is on a decent year. What else? They're the richest club in Sweden, and they also, a wee bit of info here, they sold Zlatan Ibrahimovic to Ajax back in 2001 for 8.7 million euros, and still to this day it's the highest fee ever paid to a Swedish club. They've won 18 league titles. The most recent ones, there was loads back in the sort of 80s, 70s and 80s, but the most recent ones was 2004, 2010, 2013 and 14. They've won 14 cups. They were European Cup runners-up in 1978-79 to Nottingham Forest. Their coach is called Fridtjof Herede. I think that's how you pronounce it. He's 61 years old, he's Norwegian, and he was also the manager, or caretaker manager, of Helsingborgs when Celtic pumped them 2-0 away, 2-0 at home in the playoff round in 2012. What else? The city of Malmo is the third biggest city, and I thought I'd write down some wee sites that you could go and see, or some things today when you go there. You could check out the Öresund Bridge, which links Sweden to Denmark. It looks pretty impressive if you're into sort of sightseeing and stuff like that. They've also got the historical Malmös Castle for art and museums, a wee bit of culture, different kind of culture you get for the west of Scotland, that's for sure. What else can you go? You can go and see the Moderna Museet, which is a museum of modernism, and it's not far from St Peter's Cathedral. I'm sure a few of you will be checking out St Peter's Cathedral. You can also go to Folkets Park. It's known as the People's Park. It is the oldest public park in the world, and it's open daily and it's free. Hopefully you get a nice day and you can kick about with your beer in there. Another place you can go to is called Kalbad. Swedish isn't fucking easy, by the way. Kalbadhust, and it's Ryderborg's bathing house. That sounds a bit dodgy, to be honest, Ryderborg's bathing house, but it's somewhere you can go for a spa, a wee swim, a sauna, some food and drink, and a wee treat yourself. If you're planning on with the missus, you could take her there. Well, you fuck off with the boys for a bevy. But that's just a wee bit about Malmo. I thought I'd throw in there if you don't know much about them, and if you didn't know much about the city, so hopefully I've gave you a few wee tips there on things today. So that was my Malmo and who are they. Well, I'm going to break up the show a wee bit, and I'm going to get a wee tune on. I'm going to get a wee rock song on. This has been requested all the way from Melbourne, Australia. On Twitter it was Melboy, MELBBHOY, at Melboy, spelt the same way, and he's asking for a song called I'm on Fire from Bruce Springsteen from his album Born in the USA. A great album. If you know music, then you'll definitely know this song. It's a great wee tune. He's also asked for a shout out for his kids, Charlie, Eddie and Harvey, all Celtic boys, so a big hail to yous guys, and we'll get your dad's tune on. So here we go, this is Bruce Springsteen with I'm on Fire.
Hey, little girl, is your daddy home? Did he go and leave you all alone? I got a bad desire. Oh, I'm on fire. Tell me now, baby, is he good to you? And can he do to you the things that I do? Oh, no, I can take you high. Oh, I'm on fire. Sometimes it's like someone took a knife, baby, edgy and dull, and cut a 6-inch valley through the middle of my skull. At night I wake up with the sheets soaking wet and a freight train running through the middle of my head. Only you cool my desire. Oh, I'm on fire.
Chilled out tune for Millboy over in Australia and all your kids. I hope you enjoyed that. Hail, hail. If anybody wants to get any requests in, please do so. I'm not going to bombard the show with 7-8 songs or whatever. The show is only going to last somewhere between an hour and an hour and a half. So I'll probably play maximum 5, one at the start, one at the end, maybe 2 or 3 in the middle, just to break the show up a wee bit. I'm getting a lot of comments, basically, for people tell me they're enjoying the music. Getting a smart ass comment calling dad rock when I play some of the old classic stuff or whatever, or slagging Dire Straits, and saying that there's only really been one person slagging Dire Straits, Paul Larkin. And anyway, the Homeboys, they slagging me for playing Dire Straits, and they finished their show with fucking Katy Perry. So what are they talking about? Anyway, I want to discuss Aberdeen just briefly in Europe, and I've got a few wee stats as well. Now, I fancied Aberdeen to beat the Kazakhstan mob, even though they had, remember the player Timashuk? He used to play for Shakhtar Donetsk, and he played for Bayern Munich, the guy with the long blonde hair, Ukrainian international. I think he was their main player or captain or something, but I fancied Aberdeen, full stadium, they sold out, so well done for that. But as it turns out, they never even turned up on the night. They were absolute shite, apparently. Even the likes of Richard Gordon and all the Aberdeen fans that are on Sports Sound all pretty much said that they didn't turn up until the last 6 or 7 minutes. Obviously, they conceded a goal quite early in the second half. Done really not a lot, and then got a goal 6-7 minutes before the end. They threw everything at them, but in the end, they went out on a 3-2 in aggregate. And then I started seeing all the comments coming through, journalists and just general people on Twitter, basically saying, you know, Scottish teams are not the same as what they used to be 20 years ago. So I thought I'd put that to the test, and it's up to you if you want to decide based on these stats whether we are any better or not. Personally, I don't think we've really moved much further. I'd say Celtic have definitely moved a lot further, but I'd say the rest of Scottish football is probably flatlined. But what I did was I started from the 1990-91 season, and I took it up to 94-95, and I've matched it up against 2010-11 all the way up to 2014-15. Now, from the years 90-91 to 94-95, we had 22 teams competed in Europe over that period. They played a total amount of 70 games, that's home and away, 70 games in total. We won 28 games as a collective. We lost 28 games, so we won the same as we lost, and we drew 14. So between draws and wins, you know, we had over 60% not losing, if you want to put it that way. The furthest any team got during that period was Rangers during the 92-93 season. They reached effectively the third round. Now, people will say, oh, they made the semi-final. It's a load of nonsense. They never ever made the semi-final. It didn't happen. It was the first season of the Champions League. You played a first round, which they played against a team called Lyngby, I think, and then they beat Leeds in the second round home and away, which was obviously the English champions, so fair play for that. And then they went into the group stage, and their group was Marseille, CSKA Moscow and Bruges. And what was to happen was the winners of each group went straight to the final. There was no semi-finals. There's a myth goes about that Rangers made the semi-final. It didn't happen. Rangers won 2, which was one game away to CSKA Moscow. They beat 1-0 in a neutral venue because there was some issue, I think, with the breakup of the Soviet Union or something, or it was to do with the mega temperatures. I don't know, but they didn't play in Russia anyway. They beat them 1-0. They beat Bruges 2-1 at home with the mad Nisbet goal. They drew 2 games and they lost. They drew 4 games. They won 2 and drew 4, so they didn't lose any. But they drew twice with Marseille. They drew with Bruges away. They drew with CSKA Moscow at home. Like I say, there was a myth going about that they made the semi-final. They never ever made the semi-final. They get into the group stage. It lasted sort of end of November all the way up. It lasted months and months, and then obviously went straight to the final. AC Milan against Marseille. Marseille won it. Obviously, I think they had a few dodgy decisions along the way, so they could claim that at least, I suppose. But then Rangers claiming another team cheated. Karma, karma before the karma, I should say. So they had 22 teams, played 70 games. We won 28. We drew 14. We lost 28. And the furthest we got was the group stages, which was effectively the third round. So take it that way. From 2010 to 2011, we've had 21 teams enter Europe, with a total of 106 games. Now that goes up because of Europa League group stages and Champions League group stages. Obviously you got to play more. We won a total of 33 matches. We've drawn a total of 27 matches, and we've lost a total of 46 matches. Now, the win rate isn't much greater for the amount of games, but my argument is, back in the early 90s, Scottish football was maybe one rung underneath the likes of English and French and Italian and German football. They just had that wee bit more finance than us, whereas now there's an absolute fucking mega gulf in finance. So to win, considering the pittance we get for the BBC, BT and Sky, STV and Radio Scotland, part of the BBC, I suppose, the pittance that we get, I have to say that's actually fair. It's actually a fair reflection of probably where we are as a total a whole in country. Now, the furthest we got in this period was the last 16 of the Champions League, where Celtic in 2012-2013 played Juventus in the last 16, which that season they had to go through 2 qualifying rounds and in a group that had Barcelona, Benfica and Spartak Moscow. So I would say we were, not only are we playing at a higher grade of football more often, or higher grade of teams more often, so for us to have won 33 games and drawn 27, and that's including Motherwell and St Johnstone and Rangers back in 2010, 2011, all these teams, I would say that we're no worse than what we were 20 years ago. I'd say there's probably a slight improvement, just on the fact that the finances are just absolute massive compared to where they used to be. So, in my opinion, we're not any better. We're definitely no worse, but I think we're maybe slightly better as a whole. But the finances are just absolutely killing us. This is a section of the show which I call Sevco Sob Stories. Tonight's Sevco Sob Story is about a man named Gary. It's such a sad story. I think he's lost everything. Gary has wrote, "I'm a bondholder and I received an email from the club telling me basically this is the last season my seat will be kept for me. I never got involved in the creditor stuff. I never wanted a penny from the club. All I wanted was a guarantee my seat that I bought and paid for was mine for life. I phoned the club this afternoon to ask them to clarify where I stood in regards to me owning my seat, and to my utter disgust, the plonker I was dealing with from customer services had the cheek to tell me I bought the seat from the old co, and the new co wasn't honouring the deal. What the fuck? My own club using old co, new co shit? To say I'm offended at the club stance is an understatement. Why is the club not honouring the deal with bondholders? Even the new co stuff and the old co fans, can't believe it. Anyway, I was talking about like Sky, BT and stuff like that, and the TV deals just a minute ago, and the BBC, and I just want to go in. This is just my thoughts. Now, I've seen a lot of people tweeting on Saturday night about, match of the day back on. It's great to have the football back on Saturday night. Da da da. I mean, I come from an era. I mean, I'm coming up 37. I come from an era when Sports Scene was the Saturday night football for us in Scotland. We used to get the main game, which was one of the main games. We would get half an hour of the game highlights, or at least 25 minutes, like the old school thing that they done last week on Sports Scene, which I thought was quite good. You'd get Archie McPherson commentating, and then after the game they would discuss the talking points and sort of stuff, and in-depth analysis, and then they'd show you maybe a couple of highlights of what was half a match of the day. Now, I'm not saying show the bits like that for match of the day. We could do the full whatever games are played on a Saturday. I think all Scottish games should be played on a Saturday, unless we have the exception of a team playing in the Europa League on the Thursdays. Unfortunately, Celtic were in there last season, but I just don't. I think what's happening is we've been force-fed English football to the absolute extremes. I noticed that the BBC don't have the Football League stuff anymore. They've got it on Channel 5. So to me that says that the BBC have paid so much money to get the highlights rights for the Premier League in England that they didn't have any money left to put into the Football League, so that's why it went elsewhere. And they're obviously paying the likes of Lineker and Shearer and all these guys an absolute fortune. Now, right away, Scotland being part at the moment of Great Britain, we have to pay a licence fee. Do we get an equal share back? I don't think we do. I think there should be a rule. The Scottish Government should get involved because it's part of sport, and it's part of. We've got 40 odd companies that are being discriminated against because of the location. Basically, we can't do anything about private companies like Sky and BT, but all you can do with these is vote with your feet. We can't vote with our feet with the BBC. We're made to pay a fee every single month. So one way is we should be getting pro rata whatever match of the day our English sport gets via the BBC and what they pay for rights for sport, and especially football. Football's our national sport. We should be getting a pro rata rate. We are 8.9% of the population, and we should be getting a pro rata, like I say, a pro rata share. So if they're paying $100 million for talking's sake for Premier League highlights on Match of the Day. The Scottish football should be getting $8.9 million. It doesn't sound a lot, but in real terms, that's where we're at. We're only 8.9% of the population. But that at the moment, I think we're getting less than £1 million, which is just an absolute scandal, and something should be done about it. I heard somebody for the BBC, the point get brought up about it not that long ago, and they basically said that what they pay for Scottish football is basically all we're worth. Effectively, that's what they said. That's not right. We own the BBC, and they should be paying more into Scottish football. Now, Sky and BT, if you don't want to pay English football, then don't have Sky, or don't have Sky Sports. We are paying absolutely through the nose. If we go a pro rata, apparently Scotland's got 12% subscriptions. We're only 8.9% of the population. Now, I'm not saying everybody who buys Sky buys it to watch football, but most of the money that goes to Sky goes to the football. So, for that matter, we should be getting a pro rata based on our subscription. And if that was the case, Scottish football would receive over 600 million over whatever period the English Premier League, and that would put us in probably the top 5 or 6 TV deals in Europe. But we don't. We get less than, we get roughly what Man City paid for 2 players, which is just under £60 million over a long period, something like 4 or 5 years. And that's not just for Sky, that's for BT as well. Now, if I'm the head honcho at BT Sports, English teams don't want to take the Europa League seriously. They don't want it. The money is so great in the English Premier League that the Europa League is just a non-event. But for Scottish teams, if Scottish teams were to enter the Europa League, then I guarantee the viewing figures would be massive, because it's almost a novelty. It's almost, it's Europa League for Aberdeen is like Champions League for us, realistically. So if BT want as many subscribers tuning in to the massive deal that they've paid for the Champions League and the Europa League, then I think BT should ditch Sky as a partner for Scottish football, go it alone, pay Scottish football a fair price. Now, put it in relative terms, we get 3 times less than what Norway gets, yet is there any big teams realistically in Norway? Molde, Rosenborg, they're not even an absolute patch on some of the clubs we've got in our top flight, based on stature, history, the derbies that we've got, that you can see. So if BT paid Scottish football a fair price and covered it as well as I think they do, I think they're 10 times better, 100 times better than Sky Sports. They promote the game. Even when there's a big English game coming up, they'll promote the Scottish game while that match is either on a break or just about to kick off or whatever. I've seen it with the Man United Tottenham. They're advertised Celtic Partick Thistle, which is great. It's the first game of the season, and they're promoting Scottish football. So I think that's great. So I think if BT want more subscribers, pay Scottish football more money, in the back of that, the Scottish team should get better and then hopefully qualify for the Europa League. And if they get 2 or 3 teams in there in the Europa League, Celtic in the Champions League, then they're the winners. More people are going to subscribe. It's as simple as that. They say speculate to accumulate. We're a British-based club. It's a British-based broadcaster. Surely they should be paying more into Scottish football. That's just my opinion. Others may differ. But if Scottish football got a pro rata on all across the board, it'd be one of the richest leagues in Europe. But unfortunately, we allow the English to take all the money and we're left with the crumbs. So that's just my personal opinion. And another thing, just quickly, because Sports Scene is on a Sunday night, 10:30, Do you think kids are getting to watch that when they've got school on a Monday, 10:30 to 11:30 on a Sunday night when you've got school? Nah, they're not getting to watch it. So all they're getting to see, pretty much, especially the kids that don't have access to Sky Sports or BT Sports. I mean, a lot of people out there can't afford it, and I get that. I'm quite lucky, just that I can afford it, just between me and my wife, that we earn enough that I can have these things. You know, I sacrifice in other areas, but, you know, I like my sport. I like watching other types of sport, boxing and stuff like that. But there's kids out there that are not getting any exposure to Scottish football. And what do? Well, they see English teams, and they'll see Barcelona, Real Madrid, probably, or maybe. So they'll pick an English team off Match of the Day. They'll go out and buy the strip. I was driving down Crookston Road, heading home, and I drove past a wee guy. He must have been 14. He was kitted out in the full Man City kit. You'd never have seen a Man City kit in Glasgow 10 years ago, never mind 20 years ago. And this is what's happening. Our kids are starting to choose English teams because it's more sexy, more glamorous, and Scottish football isn't. They're not getting exposed to Scottish football, basically. And we're underfunded. So, and I don't think we do enough to promote our game and talk it up and, you know, get them in. We make it too expensive. You know, I could go on and on about this all night. But BBC, Sky, BT, get the fucking finger out. Support Scottish football to a point. You know, even pro rata based to what you do English football, and Scottish football would flourish massively, and your subscriptions and your viewing figures would go up massively. You know, so that's just my opinion. Right, we're going to have another wee feature. This is probably one of my favourite features. As I've said before, I like to listen into all the phone-ins. I listen to a lot of Talk Sport through my job. I listen to the podcasts for BBC Scotland, and I occasionally tune into Super Scoreboard, and every now and again you come across an absolute dough ball. Usually it's Hugh Keevans, but this week I'm going to spare Hugh, and because Saturday produced this absolute cracker. So this is this week's Super Scoreboard Walloper of the Week.
Sean in Shettleston has phoned in. Hi, Sean.
Hi there, panel. I would like to. I thought Rangers played brilliant, actually quite good at the weekend. Well, Friday night, in a full packed house on a Friday night, live on BT Sports. The only team in Scotland that can fill their stadium. I actually would like to see Rangers challenging for the league and the Scottish Cup to try and see if we can get into Europe next season.
Sean R. Montague on Twitter is taking you up on your Rangers, the only team that can fill a stadium. He says, what about Aberdeen on Thursday? Played to a sell-out crowd as well.
But they only got a big run, they only had 20,000.
And they've got a much smaller city than the one you're in.
Well, I suppose
Sean, what do you reckon?
We're the most successful football club in the world.
What do you reckon, to my point, Sean, that I put to Derek, that, you know, even though your team's playing really well and, you know, everyone's favourites to win the championship, from a Rangers fan's perspective, you're looking beyond that, aren't you? Oh,
definitely. I think if you're born a Rangers fan, you always want to go on and win as much cups as you can. You're born into this world to be when you're born a Rangers fan, you want to be the best you can be.
So you're going to predict Rangers are going to win the Scottish Cup this season?
I'll put my life on it.
Honestly, please tell me that was a wind-up. It had to be a wind-up. Surely there's nobody out there that fucking thick. Can he be? I mean, let me run through it just quickly. He started off by saying that he supports the only club that can fill a stadium, then he was quickly shot down because Aberdeen filled theirs just a couple of days ago, and then used some bullshit excuse about it's a weird stadium. Well, if that's the case, your stadium's 10,000 seats weirder than ours, so get it up you. They're going to win the Scottish Cup and get into Europe, and if they don't, he's going to put his life on it. So Sean for Shettleston, it's been nice knowing you, pal. After the wee backing forward with the homeboys on Monday night, regards to Dire Straits and fucking Katy Perry and all that shit, I actually get a tweet for the homeboys asking for a song. So, a song you shall have. They've asked for a song called Fortunate Son. It's for an old band for the 60s, stroke 70s, early 70s, called Creedence Clearwater Revival. You'll know it as soon as you hear it, probably. It's quite an old one. This is Grander Rock before MD fucking sticks the roar in. So here we go. Creedence Clearwater Revival, and the song's Fortunate Son. A great wee tune. Well done, homeboys. It's not just Katy Perry and Happy Mondays. That's a great wee tune. I just want to say, like, if you ever want to request a tune, please don't email me. Send me a tweet at Celtic Rock Roars, or Facebook, www.facebook.com/Celtic Rock and Roars, and get a tune on. Charlie 1967 at Charlie Mac 1967. The girl I had a wee debate with about James Forrest. I promise you I'll get your request on next week. And Joe Dolan, I absolutely promise I'll get you some Lynyrd Skynyrd on next week as well. I've had some other requests for Metallica and Black Sabbath, so if you like that kind of stuff, I'll have that coming up in the coming weeks. I've already got tonight's final song picked out. Somebody else picked it, or picked the band, and I picked the song, so it's absolute class. So, aye, homeboys, well done. It's now time for Dumb and Dumber Tweets. This is where I've been trolling all week through Twitter, looking for some dumb motherfuckers and their points of view, and I stick it on this wee segment so you can abuse them, and it's also for your amusement. So let's kick off this part of the show with a tweet from Copeland Daz at 18RFC72. He wrote, "To all other Scottish clubs, your directors, your players, in brackets, not you at Scott Allen _ in brackets, your fans and your journalists, fuck you all, we're back, GB."
Tic-tac, sir.
First shite talker of the night. Now, next tweet comes from a guy called Paul, Newcastle United Football Club fan, at Mr. McGee. He wrote, in a response to me arguing with him, he wrote, "P.S. Your comment, we get Europe every year, is very true. You get Europe, You don't even have to earn it.
You'd keep your mouth shut if you knew it was good for you, buddy.
Coming from a Newcastle fan that's probably never seen his club win a trophy, listen, just because the other teams in the league aren't as good as Celtic, that ain't our fault. We've still got to win more games than anybody else, so it's never easy. Next tweet comes from Express Sport at @DExpress_sport. They're quoting Brendan Rodgers, and he said Brendan Rodgers believes Christian Benteke was a bargain at $32.5 million. #LFC.
No way!
Now, I think Benteke's a good player, but $32.5 million? No way. That signing just sums up everything that's wrong with English football and the money that he paid for him. Now, next tweet comes from Sky News at Sky News. They're quoting Paul Gascoigne. They wrote, Paul Gascoigne says he used to think news stories on the Gaza Strip were about him.
Pills are good! Pills are good!
More medication for Gaza, methinks. Next tweet comes from a guy called Mark Wilson at MWilson04. He wrote, just wait till we get Celtic in the next round and then the at BBC Sports Scotland will come crawling back to Ibrox. Rangers were class today.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you? Sucking back on Grandpa's old cough medicine?
You were class against Peterhead, for fuck's sake. Butchers, bakers and candlestick makers. Now, next tweet, all credit goes to 67 at Andy McGregor 95, who tweeted at Hulk Hogan for the WWE, or just recently sacked for the WWE for some racial stuff. I think he used the N-word many times and get bumped. Well, anyway, 67, Andy McGregor at Andy McGregor 95, he tweeted Hulk Hogan, I know you're not a racist, Hulk, you're the best ever, but he incorporated a picture of Effie Ambrose in his Celtic kit sitting in a car. Hulk Hogan replied at Andy McGregor 95, yo 67, thank you brother.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber, you go and do something like this and totally redeem yourself.
Done up like a kipper. The Hulkster get fucking duped. Anyway, next tweet comes from old Tender Meatballs himself, Keith Jackson at Tender Meatballs. He wrote, good exclusive in at Daily Record tomorrow. Suspect Celtic and Ronnie Dyler in particular will be understandably outraged by it.
Tic-tac, sir?
Tic-tac for Tender Meatball shite talker, because it turned out it wasn't even his exclusive. The exclusive apparently was that Celtic weren't allowed to train on the Carabag pitch, and Tender Meatballs was having a go at another journalist because the story turned out to be complete shit. Anyway, next tweet comes from, this is a wee bit of a conversation. This is Simon at Simon1872 tweeting Chris Graham at Chris Graham76. He wrote, what's your gut feeling, amigo? And Chris Graham replied, Hibs might continue to act like a wee club or see sense.
Good day, mate. Let's put another shrimp on the barbie.
You two loon balls need to forget it. Scott Allen isn't getting sold to Rangers, so I would forget it. Anyway, next tweet is another wee conversation by a couple of zombies. At Ange Blue, at AngeBlue55 tweeted, I bet Warburtons have seen a rise in sales, and she's got a wee picture of a wee guy with a Warburtons loaf packet, and this guy join Rangers First at ObenLad1970. He wrote back to AngeBlue55, I think at Warburtons might get involved in a sponsorship deal at some point in the future. Sales must have rocketed.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah!
Sounds good, to be honest. Breed sponsoring the Pan Breed. Anyway, next tweet comes from VidmarFF at VidmarFF. Hibs leaking the bid yet again. They're desperate to cash in on Scott Allen. Frankly astonishing they refuse to deal with Scotland's biggest club.
Pills are good! Pills are good!
I think you've been injecting too much of your own product, VidmarFF. Anyway, next tweet comes from Sorrell, SURRELL, at Sorrellman. He wrote, looking forward to seeing Celtic drop out of the Champions League tonight, smiley face, hashtag season over, haha.
You'd keep your mouth shut if you knew it was good for you, buddy.
How did that work out for you, you dick? Anyway, next tweet comes from John DC Gow, at John DC Gow. He wrote, Tonight, more people will be at Ibrox in a second-tier game than Celtic's Flag Day opener. There are no more loyal fans anywhere.
Tic-tac, sir?
Obsessed much? Next tweet comes from RFC themselves, Rangers FC at Rangers FC, and they've got a wee picture of Lee McCulloch, and they wrote, "On this day we look back at some of the moments from throughout Rangers' glorious history." All over!
No, it's a cardigan, but thanks for noticing.
I take it that's Rangers FC actually admitting that they're only 3 years old, because if they weren't 3 years old, they would have had somebody else in that picture instead of fucking Elbows McCulloch. Anyway, next tweet comes from Rangers History at Rangers Facts. He wrote, "Officially a hashtag Full House Friday. Take a bow, Rangers fans. We laugh in the faces of 2012 SPL washout Saturday. Hashtag we are the people."
Pretty bird. Yeah, can you say pretty bird? Pretty bird. Yes, pretty bird. Polly, want a cracker?
This Muppet must be away with the birdies, man, because I have absolutely no idea what the fuck he was talking about. Anyway, next tweet comes from Vidmar FF, again, at Vidmar FF. He wrote, "No closed stands, no bed sheets, no buy one get one free, just 50,000 packed to the rafters. Hashtag we are the people."
Good day, mate. Let's put another shrimp on the barbie.
Let me tell you something, Vidmar FF. You have a smaller stadium, your tickets are cheaper, and against St Mirren, that was your biggest game of the season. Anyway, next tweet comes from Ted Clubber Wang, and his Twitter name is at Spanish Argin Rob, whatever. Anyway, he wrote, "Basically pissed the now but delighted with the Rangers tonight. Only gonna get better, man. Karma owes us and it's payback time. We are the people."
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you? Sucking back on Grandpa's old cough medicine?
Last tweet goes to the snake, that is Chris Graham, at Chris Graham 76. He wrote, "Full house at Ibrox for a Friday night, televised game, winning, stylish football. You can sense the panic. We are coming, Rangers FC."
Tic-tac, sir?
Only fear I smell, Graham, is for your arse, because you're shiting yourself because Peter Martin's going to kick your balls. Anyway, that's Dumb and Dumber tweets for this week.
No way.
Well, another good result today. Partick Thistle away. Looked like a good crowd for, well, the Celtic side anyway. They filled that full Jackie Husband stand, I think it's called. 1,500 people up on last season, so that's a positive for Partick. Obviously a wee bit more money in the coffers. They could be doing with more fans themselves, to be honest, but being a Sunday, they're probably at church or away to see theatre or something like that. You know, Nutcracker must be on this weekend. So I think the best thing to probably do for me to assess how the game went was just sort of run through the team, you know, starting for the goalkeeper. I thought Gordon, as usual, looked assured, didn't really have much to do. Mostly, I think any shots at him were wide or, you know, kind of straight at him. Nothing major, to be honest. Izagiri got forward pretty well. He got forward quite a lot after a hard graft during the week where he played well against Karabag. He's crossing, but he could be doing. I mean, sometimes he throws in a cross and you're like, what a cross, and then the next 4 or 5 are too far or go out behind for a goal kick or something. So definitely needs to improve his crossing. I still think we need a left back. I don't think Izzy is the answer. I think Mulgrew is better defensively, but going forward he's a bit slow, and he kind of slows the play down a wee bit. Centre backs, Virgil and Big Boy Atta, a bit of a stroll in the park, to be honest. Virgil just different class again, especially that one where he absolutely skinned the guy out in the left wing. You know, a centre back skinning a guy in the left wing, that says it all, to be honest. Absolutely strolled it. His interview, he never looks happy, to be honest. He just looks quite dour. But man of the match performance, good stuff. Boyata defended well, didn't take any shite. You know, distribution getting slightly better, but he just looks like a right out and out defender, which is good, and I think we've been lacking that for a wee bit. Lustig at fullback, thought again He started the game. Obviously, he was the captain for the day. Just try to get him a run of games, I suppose, because he seemed to be in for one, out for another, but that's 2 in a row. Played pretty well. Obviously, controversial moment. I don't think it's a penalty. I don't know how if he's facing the guy, it's a penalty all day long. But the fact is, he's jumping back the way, he's stretching for it. He's not even touched his foot. His barely even touched the ground as the the guy's headed it against his arm. He's actually turning round to look the other way because he thinks the guy's over his left hand shoulder, but it's actually hit his right hand or his arm. So for me, no a penalty. I think if he was jumping facing into the guy, I think it's a penalty all day long and probably a booking, to be honest. But Sutton, he says no penalty. Cragen, surprise, surprise, says penalty, and Gordon Strachan was kind of trying to sit on the fence a wee bit, I think. But the back four played pretty well. Got a wee bit sloppy in the last sort of 20 minutes or so when the big boy Pogba came on, but all in all, played well. Midfield, I think Johansson's pretty quiet when he's in that kind of deeper role alongside Beaton. Beaton again just keeps everything moving. Absolute class player. Never looks flustered or in trouble or anything. So I thought they two played well. Obviously missing Scott Brown today. Armstrong, don't know what was up with him. Don't know if he'd felt a wee muscle pull or maybe it was just the after effects of the game on Wednesday night just hit him and maybe he just felt I need to come off. But gave us a chance to see Callum McGregor. We've not seen him for a while, and but I thought McGregor he overdoes it. When one pass or one touch is enough, he takes 3 and 4, and I don't know. I think he could be doing. I'm not saying get rid of him, but I think he could be doing with a season out on loan. Maybe we could help Hibs out and give Hibs. Maybe go to Hibs or maybe even another sort of kind of lower end of the Scottish Premiership. Maybe I don't know, no Kilmarnock because he's too young for Kilmarnock. But I don't know, maybe Dundee or Ross County. I think he would. I know that Ross County haven't got enough ex-Celtic players in their team, but I think he could be doing with a season out on loan again, and then see how he looks, and then decide next season whether we keep him or punt him. Who else was in the midfield? Commons. I thought Commons was pretty quiet throughout the game. I thought his touch wasn't there. He gave the ball away a few times, but cool finish. Great ball by Beaton, and a good finish for the second goal. But obviously the first goal with Tom Rogic playing in behind, kind of playing Johansson's role. I thought he played well in the first half. He looks like a kind of sulky, big, classy player. He's got a weird run as well. He looks like Action Man, an Action Man figure. But the goal, absolute class, man. Just no way should have been able to score that. But hopefully it's he's like a new signing. Effectively, is a new signing because we've not had him for 2 years. Really, he's been out on loan or he was injured. So hopefully we can get to see him a run of games. Who else came on? Obviously Henderson came on with the last couple of minutes. Kind of just not really enough to sort of judge him. Gary Mackay-Steven come on again. Just I don't know. It's almost as if he looks tired or maybe lacking a wee bit of confidence. He had a great pre-season as well, scoring goals, creating goals. But I don't know. He's just seems a bit quiet just now. So, but hopefully it'll come. He's got a great technique. He's skillful and all these things. So, I'm not going to judge him, for God's sake. He's only in the club 6 months. I think he's got a lot to offer, but just maybe it's just not happening for him right now. Up front, obviously we had Griffiths. I'm worried about the strikers, if I'm being brutally honest. I think Chief J and Griffiths will score goals in the Premiership, but I don't think when it comes to that higher level in Europe, I don't know if they're good enough at that level. I think the priority has got to be a top quality striker, or as good as we can afford. and if we get in the Champions League, then there's no. I think we should be signing somebody before it. We're in the minimum. We've got minimum Europa League, so that'll bring at least £7 million, which I would like to think the club doesn't bank on. You know, we should be working to the budget that we're not in Europe, and anything over that is a bonus, and the club give the manager at least a good proportion of that to spend. So I think we should be going out there getting a striker. Apparently, we're in for some Belgian guy. This is, I don't know whether to believe it or not. It was Alec Ray on Super Scoreboard last week, and he's said it twice now. He's obviously, I think he was over in Belgium with Alex McLeish, but he says that apparently Celtic are in advanced talks with a top Belgian striker, but he wouldn't put his name to any player. So it'd be interesting to see if that's actually true. I don't know who it is. People are taking guesses. I don't think it could be the boy for Bruges. One, he's 30, I think, and two, I think he might be cup-tied if Bruges get put out of Man United. So we'll see. I was wondering. I thought Griffiths should have come off after about half an hour. 60 minutes, and gave Shepovic another run out, because it just wasn't happening for him up front. I don't think it was quite a quiet game for Griffiths. But you know, all in all, after a big long travel back from Baku, with a good result in the back pocket, and obviously a couple of changes and missing Scott Brown, I thought it was a decent performance. First half was pretty good. Great first goal. Second goal, great pass for Beaton, and a great wee chip for Commons. But you know, these are the games that we used to get criticised for not winning. We'd maybe draw or lose after Europe. Ronnie Dyler's got the team to such a fitness level, I think, that there's no excuses, basically. And I agree with Gordon Strachan that the top players in the world don't complain about playing too many games. If you want to play with Celtic, you should be expected to play 3 games in a week. That would be Saturday stroke Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday stroke Sunday again, and you should be at least expecting to play 45 to 50 games a season, because Celtic will play roughly 60 games in a season. That's where your level of fitness should be. Now, during the commentary, Chris Sutton made the point, and he's made it twice now. He made it during the week against Qarabag, and he made it again today, that Virgil van Dijk is every bit as good as Stones at Everton, and if they're looking at 25 million plus for him, then Virgil van Dijk's worth just as much, if not more. Now, him saying that led to an absolute outburst from every non-Celtic supporting person on Twitter, whether it was media, guys in other forums. I seen Pine Bovril commenting on it, and numerous other journalists basically saying that Chris Sutton's having a laugh if he thinks Celtic will get 20 million for Virgil van Dijk. See, this is the problem with this country. We are consistently, and it goes back to my point earlier, it's a wee man syndrome. We consistently talk down our game. Virgil van Dijk is an absolute class player. The English clubs, if they want him, then they know what to pay. It should be minimum £20 million. Now, people listening to this can laugh or say whatever they like, but the best tweet I read today was a Rolls Royce is a Rolls Royce, and it doesn't matter where it's parked. And that's the best way to sum up Virgil van Dijk. The guy is absolute class, and he would fit into any team, and I mean any team, in the English Premier League. That's just my opinion. Others may disagree, and I think it's about time Celtic and other clubs in Scotland stop accepting wee shitey bids for players that are probably better than some of the players that are already down there, because I think we get screwed over. We need to take it. We can't get the TV money. If we can't get the TV money, then we need to take advantage of the country next door to us and their TV money. I keep hearing about the league shite, and he's not been tested. Well, he plays in Europe. He played in Europe last season. He played in the Champions League the year before. He's playing in Europe this season. He looks a completely different player already this season to last season in Europe. Although we've not played the greatest opposition, but he's strolled it, and I think he'll stroll it again against Malmo. So I think if 2 or 3 teams are looking at him, there's talk of would you call them Swansea, who are just baffling that Swansea would be looking to pay 20 million for players. That just sums up English / Welsh football. Southampton, apparently Everton, they're all in for them. So if you're getting 2 or 3 in for them, then Celtic just turn around and say, look, we don't want to sell, but if you want them, 20 million's the figure, and that's it. If you don't have it, then he stays with us. Celtic have to come out and say that the minute a bid comes in, or else we're just going to get walked over again. I don't think we need the money. I think we should actually be looking to try and tie up Virgil van Dijk for at least the next couple of years. Even if we got me sign an improved contract with an extra couple of years, who's to say we don't sell him next season for even bigger money if he has a good European campaign? But like I said, the way the other forums and media reacted to Chris Sutton, you would think he'd kicked a baby out of a pram. But the way they reacted, I've seen tweets of no more than 8-10 million max. It's absolute nonsense. They said the same thing about Wanyama. 8 million, no more than 8 million we get 12.5. So, just my opinion. So again, another good result. Probably a 6.5 out of 10 performance, and onwards and upwards, top of the league again. Well, that's us at the end of the podcast, or the show, or whatever you want to call it. I just want to say once again, thanks to everybody who tunes in. Unbelievable feedback I've been getting. I really appreciate it. And if the feedback keeps coming, then I'll keep doing the shows. Obviously, if nobody liked what I've done, then I probably wouldn't be doing it. This is just me. I like to air my own views and just get it out there. I'm not saying whatever I say is fact or gospel, but that's just one man's opinion. I'm sure everybody's got their own opinion. That some of you may agree, some of you may disagree. That's all fine and dandy. But all I ask is please keep retweeting the shows or keep spreading the word. I'm on Hail Media. You can get that on Spreaker, www.spreaker.com. I'm on there also every Friday, or not every Friday, but every maybe 2 or 3 Fridays a month. I do my own wee rock show on my own Spreaker page, which is spreaker.com/RazorRock Uncut. /user/RazorRock Uncut, which is WRAYZOR ROCKUNCUT. If you've got any requests for music for the next shows or the any up and coming shows, please tweet me at Celtic Rock Roars, or get me on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Celtic Rock and Roars. Now, I had just before I go to the final song, finish the show, we've got Kilmarnock during the week away from home. It's on BT Sport at 7:45 PM Glasgow time, Parkhead time, Celtic Park time, whatever you want to call it. And then next Saturday we've got Inverness Cali at Celtic Park, 3 PM kickoff. Fucking hell, man. That's a first for a long time anyway. So looking forward to that. And then obviously the big game. I'll get the next podcast out next Sunday, building up to the big game on the Wednesday at home against Malmo in the Champions League. But the final song has been chosen by a guy called Stevie Kane. He's actually chosen the band. I've chose the song. He sent a message saying, downloaded a couple of your podcasts, really enjoyed them. Some Black Sabbath or Floyd would be my request. Sabbath, probably a wee bit heavy for some folk, so I've gone with Pink Floyd. This song sums up how I was feeling during the game against Karabag. I'm always a nervous wreck. I feel numb, but in the last 30 minutes I was comfortably numb. So that's the song I've chosen. So like I said again, thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you same time next week. Hail, hail, top of the league. This is Pink Floyd and Comfortably Numb. Catch you later.
Is there anyone home? Come on down. I hear you're feeling down. Well, I can ease your pain, get you on your feet. it's time to go.